Ever feel like it's impossible to save 6 figures on an average salary? Well, I used to think that too until I saved over $200,000 and finally broke free from living paycheck to paycheck without even earning 6 figures. So in this video, I'm gonna walk you through the 3 biggest lessons that helped me turn things around and how you can start taking control of your money too. And to help you avoid the biggest traps, I've also put together a free guide, 7 common mistakes keeping 9-to-5 employees broke and how to fix them. You can grab it below for free to see if you're making any of these mistakes and how to easily resolve them. And if you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Jung Ho, and I help 9-to-5 professionals rely less on your paycheck through smart saving and investing. Now to start, let me show you why your bank account never grows even if you feel like you're making more money than ever. Back when I used to travel a lot, I've always had this massive suitcase that I would drag around everywhere. And I would pack extra outfits, extra shoes, a rain jacket, backup chargers, you name it. Stuff that I wouldn't even touch or even think about during the trip, but in my head, it all felt essential when I was packing them. Like, what if it rains? What if I run out of battery? What if I spill something and need a change of clothes? So I would pack all these stuff, and before I knew it, the suitcase was stuffed. Even the zippers barely closed and always weighed in just under the 50-pound limit. And I would do this every time we traveled, no matter how much I told myself beforehand that I wouldn't overpack this time. Then one year, my wife got me a much smaller, sleeker carry-on case, and at first, I kind of panicked. I thought, there's no way I could fit everything I need into this. But here's the crazy part. I still packed it full like usual, but compared to before, I was packing maybe half of what I used to bring. And somehow I didn't feel like I was missing anything during the trip. And even if I did miss 1 or 2 things that I really needed, I would just buy them at the airport or wherever I was going. And that's when it clicked. The amount of space I had in my suitcase controlled how much I packed, not what I actually needed, just how much space I had. And this is what's known as the Parkinson's law. The original definition states that you will stretch out the completion of your tasks until they fill the time available to complete them. Simply, the work expands to fill the time available. So you give yourself 3 weeks to write a paper, it'll take 3 weeks. If you give yourself 3 hours for the same paper, and somehow you still get it done. Now apply that to your finances. Expenses expands to fill your income available. The more space in your luggage or the money that you give yourself, the more you'll naturally find ways to fill it or spend it. Think about the last time you got a raise or a bonus and you probably thought, finally, I could save more. But what actually happened? You upgraded your phone, started ordering more takeout, maybe moved into a nicer place or joined a fancy gym. Nothing wrong with these things, but your lifestyle quietly expanded to match your new income. Meanwhile, your savings still stuck in the same spot. So how do you break out of this? You create an artificial scarcity where you shrink your financial suitcase on purpose. The easiest way, automate your savings or investment contributions the moment you get paid. Before the money even hits your checking account or as soon as it does, send it somewhere else. Set up a auto transfer to a high yield savings account or a retirement account. If it never touches your everyday account, then you won't even see it as available money to spend. And over time, you'll adjust your lifestyle to the income that you set yourself. Next, let me explain why you're never buying just one thing. So imagine you've got the same couch for years, it's old and worn out now, and after putting it up for so long, you finally decide to yourself, all right, it's time for an upgrade. So you go out and pick a nice modern couch that fits your style, just way nicer than the one that you had before. But the moment that it's in your living room, something feels off because suddenly that old coffee table, it doesn't match. The rug, now it feels dull. The curtains, way too outdated for this new vibe now, you know? So one by one, you start replacing everything in the living room. What began as a $700 couch turns into a $2,000 living room makeover. And this is what's known as the Diderot Effect, a concept that explains how one new purchase can trigger a domino effect of upgrades. And you didn't just buy a couch, you upgraded a lifestyle. Now the difference between the new and the old is just impossible to ignore. And here's the dangerous part. It doesn't feel like reckless spending. It actually feels justifiable. You're not binge shopping random things, you're just kind of finishing the look. You're making things match, but it just all adds up so fast. And once your standard of living jumps, it's really hard to go backwards. And it starts with this one purchase that you could afford and ends up with a credit card bill that you can't pay at one go. So you end up getting stuck with the payment plan that follows you for the next 12 months. So how do you stop this chain reaction before it just spirals out of control? Here's one simple rule that works. Wait just 1 week. If you buy a new couch and suddenly feel the urge to upgrade, everything else, don't act on it right away. Just hit pause and give yourself 7 days. That's it. So this creates a short cooling off period that helps you step out of your emotional high of buying something new. This gives your brain time to settle and encourages intentional spending as opposed to reactive spending. And more often than not, the urge to upgrade fades over time, and then you realize the old rug or the coffee table still works just fine. And you get to enjoy your new couch without having to turn it into a full-blown makeover. Because the real cost of one upgrade isn't just the price tag, it's the domino effect that follows. Next, let me show you just how common it is to feel stuck financially, even when you're doing everything right. So imagine shrinking the entire US population down to 100 people standing in one room. How many of them do you think are living paycheck to paycheck? Maybe you would guess 20%, maybe 30%, thinking it's mostly low-income households, and honestly, that's not a bad guess. But according to NerdWallet, the real number is 57 out of 100 Americans are currently living paycheck to paycheck. So let that sink in, because that's more than half the population, and it gets worse. And even if you exclude the folks who are technically still managing to save, maybe tossing some money into a 401k or a high yield savings account, you're still left with about 40% of Americans who are still struggling to cover your basic monthly expenses like rent, mortgage, groceries, and utilities. And here's the kicker. This isn't just a low income issue. The same study found that 42% of people earning over 6 figures, yes, making more than $100,000 a year, are still living paycheck to paycheck. So that means behind those nice cars and luxury apartments and weekend getaways, nearly 4 out of 10 high income earners are barely getting by. So how do you break out of this cycle? Well, by now you understand that it's not just about how much you make. It's about knowing how much you make and knowing where that each dollar is going. Because here's the truth, you can't fix what you can't see. And most people, they genuinely have no idea where their money actually goes each month. And that's why budgeting, real intentional budgeting, is the foundation of financial freedom. Now, I get it. The word budgeting doesn't exactly excite people. And it sounds restrictive, like a punishment, like a big no for everything fun in life. But that's not what a good budget is, or even how it should be. A good budget isn't about saying no to everything. It's about saying yes with purpose to the things that are most important to you. And it gives your money direction, and that's how you go from wondering where all of your money went at the end of the month to knowing exactly how much your electrical bill was this month. And if you've never budgeted before, don't worry, I got you. To start off, you don't actually need to cut back on anything right now, honestly. Just start by tracking, and you could use my stress-free budget template that's linked below, and it's already pre-filled with common categories and purchases, so you could just plug in the numbers. And here's what you do. Input how much you earned this month and fill in what you spend on rent, groceries, transportation, subscriptions, and split it between fixed and variable cost. Yes, every little thing counts, so that $4 coffee, $12 DoorDash fee, the $20 you spend in cash on ice cream. And this might take around 15 to 25 minutes, but by the end of it, you'll start seeing patterns like, wait, I ate out 15 times this month? What? I spent $200 on streaming services? I thought I was just grabbing coffee here and there, but that's $120 gone. That awareness, that's what you're really after here. Because awareness is what gives you power. It puts you in control and puts you in the driver's seat of your finances. And I want to emphasize this. You don't need to be perfect with this budget or with your money in general. But you do need to be proactive, taking small manageable steps to build awareness and simple systems. And most people don't budget because they're afraid to face the numbers, but facing the numbers is exactly how you stop living paycheck to paycheck and start building a life of freedom and peace of mind. And if you want to see how I escaped the paycheck to paycheck cycle and end up saving half my income for 8 years and built a $400,000 investment portfolio, you could check out this video next.